and let's just lay it out there. We have menstruals, and so I convince myself they up and down.
Yep.
And I believe that men can breathe and lose weight, and women, sniff and gain. So
exactly
with that, when I'm on, when the friend comes, I'm ready for a chocolate chip cookie.
Yep.
But with this, I love how I can reward myself, but I also am I'm full. Like I can eat one cookie and
that's what I was about to say. You can still definitely reward yourself sometimes to have the chocolate chip cookie, especially when them hormones are all over the place. But yes, you can eat like one cookie and you're like, okay, I'm satisfied, instead of eating 3 or 4.
Yeah, the whole pack is fine.
However many, but you'll just have that portion control and be satisfied from that. So that is a great point too with us females, is those hormones definitely play into our diet as well. Just a disclaimer for today, our podcast is just for educational purposes. It is not medical advice. GLP-1s are not for everyone and results may vary. So if you are interested in something like this, you definitely need to speak with a licensed medical provider. I'm Amy. I am one of the nurse practitioners at Timeless RX and Primal RX, and this is Caitlyn. And we are so excited to be here doing our first podcast. And today we are going to focus on your weight loss or your GLP-1s. And we're just specifically going to focus on kind of our younger generation, our 20, 30-year-olds. And Caitlyn, she does also work with us at Timeless RX, but she also has some personal experience with some of these medications. So she is going to be a good tool to give us that personal background. What we'll start with is what your GLP-1s are going to actually do. And I'm going to kind of talk a little bit from like the medical background of what they do. And then we'll kind of turn it over to Caitlyn and she'll talk about her personal experience with it. But your GLP-1 is a hormone that's naturally made in your gut. And this is going to decrease your hunger hormone. And it's also going to increase that hormone that tells you that you're satisfied when you eat. So when you do eat, you're going to eat a much smaller portion and you'll get full pretty quickly. Your body is going to tell you when you get full, and that's a good sign to say, okay, it's time to stop eating. Because if you don't, sometimes you can have some side effects. But it's going to stop that food noise as well in between your meals. So in between, your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, you're not going to have those wants to like go snack and eat other things. Caitlyn, do you find that this is how it works for you? Tell us what you've done in the past.
My GLP-1, I have experienced very similar things to what you just stated. It helped my portion size. It really downsized. It really downsized, like, what's the word? Like,
downsized.
It downsized my cravings and my portion size.
Yes. So I will say I also have some personal experience taking GLP-1s too. I have taken tirzepatide in the past, and it really does suppress or help you control the portions that you're taking. For me, I was one that I could eat a full bowl or plate of something and then be like, well, I'm full, but I'm not like miserable, and go back for more. And then I would go back for more and be miserable. But when I did take it, it really did tell you like, okay, you're full, just stop. You're comfortable here. And I thought that was a good proponent of how it really works. You talked about at one point, well, now it might be in another portion, your nutrition, like focusing on your nutrition. And that is a huge point that I have to like really, really, really get onto patients about sometimes, because people really want to focus on like, okay, I'm just going to take this medication to lose the weight, but really they have to put in the effort as well. And the nutrition part of it is the most important.
Agreed.
Protein. Their protein is the number one thing. I know this is probably something that you focus on a lot. Do you track your protein intake?
Yes, I do. So I weigh it all out. I track it all. And that's what I like is I was still hungry. Like it didn't completely take my hunger away. I still wanted food, but as odd as it sounds, like I felt like I wanted more clean food and less of it, but I was still able to maintain my meals, and that's what I loved.
Yes, and that is the perfect, like you're the perfect patient to show because we want it to suppress your appetite some, but I also still want you to be eating those meals, multiple meals per day. I have some patients who come to me and they're like, well, I'm not hungry for breakfast or lunch, and then I eat a small dinner. And that's not what we want you to do. We don't want you to fast. We still want you to eat those multiple meals per day and just focus on eating stuff that is nutritious, especially your protein.
Yeah.
Because, and that's important for your muscle mass. A lot of people will come in and say, oh, I'm scared I'm going to lose my muscle mass, or I'm scared that I'm going to lose my hair. And all of the medication does not directly cause that. That all just stems from what you're putting into your diet. So if you're not eating all throughout the day, then you're not getting all the nutrients you need. You're not taking in the protein. So those are some of the side effects that you can have. Do you look into your fiber intake any?
I don't. I probably should, but I feel like it does help, since we're bringing up fiber, I'm thinking like go to the bathroom.
Exactly.
So I do feel like the GLP-1 has helped regulate me in the sense of like, because I am getting my protein in, I'm getting my water in, and all those things. So it helps regulate me and digest everything. And like you were saying, I wanted to add on to what you were saying earlier for food. The GLP-1 helped me transition from doing quantity over quality to quality food over quantity.
That's exactly how it should be.
That.
Yes. And you were talking about going to the restroom. Yes. Your fiber is so important too, and your hydration, because some people do have that side effect of, so it will slow down your gastric emptying, the GLP-1s, any of them. So with that, sometimes you can have some constipation, but keeping up with your fiber intake or taking like a magnesium supplement once every night, or keeping up with your hydration is going to help with those, or, getting away from those side effects if you do deal with any of that.
I do use a glutamine powder.
Okay.
And I feel like that also helps with the digestion and breaking down the food.
Perfect.
So,
okay. So, next topic. Let's talk about your consistency with your injections. And also, this will kind of lead us into when you like get down to where you want to be goal wise and what we will do there. So, your consistency with your injections when you are trying to lose the weight is going to be so important. Taking them every 7 days, once a week. Are you're still taking your GLP-1 right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you take it every 7 days?
Every 7 days, but I'm lying. Sometimes sometimes I can be a day or two late, and I know when it's late too.
Yes.
It's not a tremendous difference or nothing that's too crazy, but I'm hungry. Like I want Popeyes.
Speaking of Popeyes, not a good idea. After that, you probably will feel nauseous, maybe have some GI upsets.
It'll feel so heavy.
Yes, any kind of fatty food, high fat foods are definitely going to make you feel not very good after. Okay, so when you go to, are you almost down to where you want to be, or?
So I'm kind of teetering. So I am down to where I want to be, but I think so. Yes. Like,
Okay.
I like where I'm at, but I'm not ready to transition to
Maintenance, yeah.
yes.
Okay. So, with maintenance, I do find that we do get this question a lot. Like, is it safe to take this medication for an extended period of time?
Right.
And the answer to that is yes. So, just to bring everyone back to like the history of your GLP-1s, we started, now someone found it or started researching this hormone in the 1980s. Like,
Oh, wow.
that is a long time ago. But we started consistently treating patients with type 2 diabetes with GLP-1s in 2005. So that's 21 years ago. Now, let's put it into this perspective. So patients with type 1 or type 2 diabetes, they start taking this medication and their blood sugar gets controlled. They stay on the medication to keep it controlled because the medication is controlling it. That's like saying someone has high blood pressure. We put them on a blood pressure medication, and the blood pressure medication controls their blood pressure. Are we going to take them off of it? No. So, yes, it is safe to take these medications for an extended period of time. And with maintenance, everyone is going to be a little bit different. But most patients will go to taking it like every 10 to 14 days instead of taking it weekly, just to help to maintain the weight that they got down to. Most people get a little nervous to gain any of that back. Right. I do have some patients who will try to get off of the medication, and some people do well with that. It's just taking all the tools that you put in while you were on it. So the diet, the exercise, the portion control, things like that, and taking that and using that further if you do get off of the medication. Now, I know that you work out, so that probably wouldn't be, and you are very health conscious, so you would definitely do well in the end, trying to space it out or trying to get off of it. But if there are people who want to stay on it, that is an okay thing for them to do. What's some questions you have for me for it?
Let's see. So, questions I have, I don't know. You really hit on all of them. Is there any GLP-1s that you feel target a different, let me see how I want to word it. Do you feel like any GLP-1s have an advantage depending on the strand or the peptide that you use? Like, would you feel like one has better muscle retention, one has better no nausea side effects? Do they have different?
So, good question. Now, with the side effect portion of it, specifically between semaglutide and tirzepatide, the tirzepatide is a dual action, and they did do clinical trials where they studied the semaglutide against the tirzepatide, and people did lose more weight on that.
Oh, wow.
And the main thing is that they had less side effects. In clinical practice, I also see that. I have patients who sometimes they're on semaglutide and they just cannot get their nausea under control. And then we'll switch them to the tirzepatide and they feel great and they don't have it. Sometimes they're like, I don't even think that the tirzepatide's working because I'm not so nauseous. And I'm like, I promise it is. But speaking of knowing if like something is working or not, our goal for weight loss is 1 to 2 pounds per week. We want to do this at a healthy, steady rate.
Yeah.
Because if not, then if you are losing more than that, then that's when we're concerned that it's more of your muscle, and not that fat that we are really targeting to get rid of. We want you to maintain your muscle or grow your muscle, but we don't want you to lose that, but we want you to lose the fat with it. So I have a lot of patients sometimes too who just want it to help go off really, really quickly. So sometimes we have to set those realistic expectations of this is healthy weight loss, that 1 to 2 pounds per week. And with your follow-ups that we do in the office, we will talk about that because I'll have some patients who come in and they're like, I haven't lost that much. And they're at that like 1 pound per week. And I'm like, that is healthy. Right. I am happy with that. You should be happy with that. Now, specifically with younger generation, there's not many people who shouldn't really that can't take a GLP-1, but there are some. And do you have any medical problems at all?
No.
Okay. See, exactly. And that's usually, your 20, 30-year-olds. Most of them are young and healthy. But main things that we would not give someone a GLP-1 for, it would be if they're pregnant or breastfeeding. And then
not that.
But that does lead me into something. We do have a lot of, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds who come in post-baby, post-breastfeeding, and they're like, I just can't get that baby weight off. So that is a good person for our age who could come in and get on a GLP-1 to kind of get that weight off and get them back to feeling like themselves before the baby. But if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, we would not. If you have a history of any kind of thyroid cancer, we would not. Certain eating disorders like anorexia, we also would stay away from that. We don't want to suppress your appetite any more than you're already doing that. But otherwise, most people are a candidate for the GLP-1s.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say someone comes in, hey, I have a wedding I am going to in 3 months, is it possible for me to lose the weight within that amount of time and still stay healthy?
So, depends on where they're at and where they want to be. I definitely think if we start the medication and they take on all of the things that they should be doing, with the diet and exercise, like we were talking about, then they can lose that healthy weight with it, the 1 to 2 pound per week range. But if they're trying to lose an extensive amount in that 3-month period, we may not get them down to where they want to be. But I do find that most people that, like, even if they were like, I won't get down to where I want to be, they will still feel so good with the progress that they made in those 3 months.
Yes.
And then after, like, though it wasn't their goal for their wedding or whatever event it was, they will still feel great, and then they will just continue it after to meet that goal that they originally set. Yes. So the other thing is, some people think that they're like cheating or taking the easy way out by taking this. And I think that for a while there was like a stigma behind taking GLP-1s. I do think that over the years, as it's become more popular, people are less, like, feel like there's less of a stigma behind it, but I do still find that people like try to hide it. And I don't think, for some people that's just, they want to like keep that away from other people and telling people, but I don't think that there should ever be a stigma behind it. Sometimes there are underlying things going on that this medication is just going to help regulate. And so you're not taking the easy way out. And like we talked about, it's not just taking the medicine and moving on. It's changing your eating habits, your exercise habits, things like that, using this medication as a tool to get you where you want to be.
Well, I love that you expressed that, because I'll even be honest with my experience. At first, I did not want to speak up about it because of my age, and I kind of put this thought in my head that you're so young, like you should have the willpower to put the fork down or not choose Popeyes. But I finally just decided that, I'm actually doing something good for myself. I'm choosing to take something that's going to help me create a healthier diet. And because of that, I put that at the forefront of my mind. And I was like, those that disagree, that's okay, because everybody has their opinion. But if I was truly doing something bad for myself, I don't think it would be something we would be able to offer. And I really appreciate how far it's gotten me, because people have habits and things that become hard, and because of the habits I created from a kid, it made things really hard, and I needed something to jumpstart and rewire my brain that it is just food. And I made it seem like a reward, like, oh, I've had a bad day, I get a reward.
Yes. And that brings me to, that is one of the things that this medication is used to treat. People who have that, like, they have some type of underlying thing going on that's saying, okay, I need to eat, or, maybe I'm just bored and I need to eat. or like you said, you had a bad day, I need a reward. And your body is rewarded when you eat, but you don't necessarily have to eat those
what I want,
horrible things for you.
Yes.
So that is a great point, because I think a lot of, especially people in their 20s, like, you know, they could be maybe in college, or they are, you know, trying to figure out things in their life, and they are having stressful times, and then they turn to food for that sometimes.
Yes.
And this medication will help to prevent that.
You know, and we're, you know, I'm sure it's different for men and women, but, you know, as women, let's just lay it out there. We have menstruals, you know, and so I convince myself they up and down.
Yep.
And I believe that men can breathe and lose weight, and women, you know, sniff and gain. So
exactly
with that, when I'm on, you know, when the, you know, the friend comes, I'm ready for a chocolate chip cookie.
Yep.
But with this, I love how I can reward myself, but I also am like, I'm full. Like, I can eat one cookie and
that's what I was about to say. You can still definitely reward yourself sometimes. You'll have the chocolate chip cookie, especially when the hormones are all over the place. But yes, you can eat like one cookie and you're like, okay, I'm satisfied, instead of eating 3 or 4.
Yeah, the whole pack is fine.
You know, however many, but you'll just have that portion control and be satisfied from that. So that is a great point too with us females, is those hormones definitely play into our diet as well.
Something that I've experienced is, like you said, so y'all like to see, the nurse practitioners like to see 1 to 2 pounds a week. And because I work out so much, I agree, like in the bodybuilding field, when I speak to everyone about it, they're like, it's really good to try and do 1 to 2 pounds a week to retain the most muscle mass.
Yes. So, but this is another thing that I also like to talk to my patients about, especially my patients who bodybuild, work out, they're trying to build muscle. You're sometimes not focusing so much on the scale, unless you have a scale that you can measure, like your body fat versus your muscle mass versus your water weight, things like that, because muscle is going to weigh more than fat. And if you are gaining muscle, you may not be seeing that huge jump on the scale because your muscle is going to weigh more than your fat. So for some of those patients too, when they come in, I may ask them, like, how are you feeling? How are you fitting in your clothes? Or are they like measuring their waist circumference, things like that, instead of focusing so much on how low the scale is going, just because of that muscle building, and you're not going to have that much of a jump on the scale. Right. But as long as someone like you who is into that, you know, like really into the bodybuilding and things like that, they're going to notice, and they know a lot about their health and their muscle mass and things like that. So most of them do not stress as much about the scale, but I do have some that have to be like, okay, let's not focus so much on that, because you look great. You are definitely losing weight. You are fitting in size clothes that are, you know, 2 sizes smaller. So you are definitely losing the fat and gaining the muscle. And that is the ultimate goal while being on it, is to maintain or gain muscle and lose that fat. That fat is what, you know, in the long run can lead to other health issues too. So if we can decrease that while keeping your muscle mass, or, you know, gaining muscle mass, then we're, you know, right where we need to be.
Well, and I think that's kind of why I've kind of hit, like, I don't know if I'm wanting to do maintenance yet, or if I want to lose more, because of that exact thing. I'm like, okay, well, do I like what 140? I'm at 143. Okay. do I?
Being real open.
Yes, yeah, real open. But do I like where I'm at here because of the muscle that I've gained, or do I want to lose a little bit more to look more toned? So that is definitely something I agree. Like, if I gain muscle, you know, I can't expect it to always go down, and I gotta be okay and like be happy, you know.
Yes. I have one more question for you. When you're not like, do you at any point wake up throughout the day, or like in the morning, or go out throughout the day and be like, I'm just not hungry, and you like don't think about food at all?
No.
Okay.
No. Now I do. I guess.
Like, do you wake up? Are you a breakfast eater?
Yes.
Okay, good. Breakfast, most important meal.
Yes.
If I can't stress that enough to my patients too, is like, I have a lot of patients who are like, I'm not a breakfast person. But when I do a consult with them, I'll try to give them tips on like, okay, we need to try to get some protein in within that first hour that we wake up. And for some patients, that looks like, oh, so then I'll be like, do you drink coffee? And most of them say yes. And with that, I'll be like, okay, well, let's add some protein to your coffee, or do like some kind of protein coffee, so that way you are getting some nutrients in plus your protein, and you can still have your coffee that you enjoy. Or eating a small, like eat an egg, or it doesn't have to be anything big, but just getting that protein in. For my people though that don't, like, I have a lot of patients who tell me they just are not hungry. And with that, I always tell them, like, even if you're not hungry, I still want you to try to put some type of nutrition in your body, especially for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you can have things in between those meals. Yeah. Your breakfast, lunch, and dinner are just going to be much smaller portions than you would typically eat. But for those who don't have an appetite at all, I definitely want them to still put something in their body. You want to keep your metabolism going. You don't want to slow that down, or you're just not going to have the best results from the medication.
Well, and I will say this, when I first started it, I was that way. I was like, because not that the body's under shock or anything, but there's something new. So I wasn't hungry, but I knew, because I work out and I do all those things, like I knew I had to. Yes. So to keep the muscle. So eventually over time, I trained my body to like know when it's ready to eat. Yep. And it helps, like when I eat my meal, I'm full. And I really don't really snack.
Yeah.
Only sometimes when I'm like getting close to when it's time to inject again or take my injection. But otherwise, I really love that too. Like it has suppressed a lot of my cravings. And that's what I struggled with the most. I was eating the meals, but then I was overeating with snacks and stuff.
Yes. Another thing, probably for some people our age too, is do you drink any alcohol?
Not often, because of the bodybuild. Like, I'm not no bodybuilder, but
she is.
But I want to be more muscly and stuff. So, trying to look like a man. I'm just kidding. Anyway, not really. So, but I do like to drink because I like to relax. Okay, I'm trying to let the load off.
So
once a month.
Okay, I have some patients too. You can drink while you're taking the GLP-1s, but most of my patients, and I do have not so much my younger patients, some of my middle age, they like to have alcohol. Like they're like, I have wine, multiple glasses of wine every night, and they know that sometimes that is leading towards their weight gain.
Oh, for sure.
And so they're like, I really want to start this to stop those cravings. And I have found that a lot of patients come back and they tell me like my cravings for, whatever it was have significantly decreased, where they'll just have like one glass of wine. So they even like put that in moderation with their food. But they'll just have one glass of wine or whatever, one alcoholic beverage that they like. And then they're like, okay, I'm satisfied and I'm done. Yeah. Sometimes overindulging in the alcohol while you're on it, you probably won't feel the best.
Yeah, right.
I will tell you from personal experience, I started tirzepatide multiple months back over the summer, and it was probably like the first or second week we were in, and we had our day where the whole office went shopping, and we took the party bus. Aww. And I started drinking, of course, as we all were. And when we got back, like I only had 2 drinks. We went and ate, and like I couldn't even have anything else, but I had 2 drinks. And when we got back, I was like, I feel so terrible. Why do I feel so bad? And like on my drive home, I'm like, I'm so nauseous. And it didn't even like connect. But then looking back, I'm like, that's probably because I was just starting the tirzepatide. So definitely. Now, did I throw up or, was I like deathly ill? No, but I did feel nauseous from it. Something that I don't, typically feel. So you definitely will see some of these changes, and it's just keeping things in moderation. to help with that.
No,
especially for younger people, you know, who like to
party it up.
Sometimes, you know, you like to go have a good time, so you just have to kind of watch what you're drinking. Sometimes staying away from those like sugary drinks, you know, sticking with like something that's clear will work better for you.
No, and then, sorry, I know we keep going on, but something I was going to touch on is I feel like I've heard, you know, conversations and questions about, am I going to be able to enjoy the meals that I love when I get on this? And for my personal experience, I'm still able to enjoy the cheat meals, or, you know, the not so healthy meal prep. Like, it hasn't taken that away from me. Like we said,
you eat a much smaller portion of it.
Exactly.
So you're able to still enjoy those things, but without eating so much. And I will say, you know, same for me. Like, we want you to limit your carbs, but for me in my household, like, I have my husband and 2 boys. They don't want to eat, you know, salads with chicken, or they want
gumbo or
meat and potatoes or spaghetti or pasta. And so I would be cooking these things for them, and I would still eat, you know, I would try to do, you know, some like lean ground turkey meat instead of doing the high fat meat, or you can even do protein pastas, things like that, to keep your protein intake up. But I would just eat a much smaller portion of like the carb part of it. But you can, it is fairly easy to make it work. It's just, you know, getting in tune with what your body will, like what you should avoid and what your body will accept with it.
1000%.
In closing, we would love for some questions. Please, however you want to submit them, in the comments, DM us. Please ask questions, and we will do another segment where we will answer all of your questions. And then lastly, just a little disclaimer, this podcast is just for educational purposes. It is not for to be taken as any kind of medical advice. If you are interested in something like this, then you need to speak with a licensed health provider who knows about GLP-1s or weight loss. And just, this is only for educational purposes.